Alright gang, welcome back to our competitive one-tile challenge here in Farmlands. It is August and I already have completed the large field of oat, the harvest of the large field of oat I should say. But that's okay, we've got a lot to do today, I did not do as good of a job as I had initially anticipated on trying to plan this out in a way where, you know, we kind of stagger things a little bit more than what I anticipated. This field obviously was ready to harvest. The two initial fields that we made way over there, they're ready to harvest today as well, and then both of our grass fields are ready to harvest. So we've got a lot to do today, if I'm honest with you. A lot. Not only that, we've got silage we can sell. There's wool over there, there's pumpkins, there's crickets, there's flour, there's all kinds of stuff for us to do, if I'm honest with you. Now, I will state fully transparent with all of you, whatever wheat we get out of all that, that's likely going to go, at least as much as we can at least, is going to go in for the chickens themselves. And then whatever's remaining will go into our flour production as it has been. We've made a lot of flour already. The flour right now, it's not a good time to sell it, so we won't be selling any of that flour today, so it won't be that exciting, I guess is how I should put it, in regard to having anything that we'll be able to sell from the actual production itself. But once we get closer to the winter months, it's going to be a lot better for us. We're going to make a lot of money off of that. But we're going to cruise on here. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all doing well. Things are good here, man. Now, really, today, not even just the harvest. We've got a hell of a lot more that we need to accomplish today. More specifically, we also need to drill at least one of these fields. I'm not sure which one we're going to drill, but we need to drill at least one of these. We got to pick up all the straw off this field as well. But we need to drill at least one of these fields. Ideally, we need to get one field drilled because canola needs to go in this month, and then maybe next month we can do another canola and maybe a barley or a wheat field, and then maybe we'll make October another, situation where we can do a few more, right? But we need to at least get one today. Ideally, I think personally, I want to do the big field over there in canola for the time being. And then Crustu has been messing with me once again. He hid my my little forklift that I've been borrowing. He hid that one from me, but that's all right. That's okay. And we've got all this stuff to sell, as I mentioned, right? Now, ideally, I would love, because we've got the wool coming in now pretty strong, I would love to be able to put down a production to turn that wool into, clothes or fabric, whatever. We will see. More than likely, grandma's knitwear probably is what we're going to be going with. A very common production that all of us have used many times, but makes a lot of money. So more than likely, that's the approach we're going to go with. But we will see, right? We'll see. I've already moved quite a bit of the flour out of the area here because it did stop production because there was so much flour in here. The production is now, once again, moving along, which is great. The barley, we've got about 6,000 left in there. We've got 25,000 liters of oat in there. So that's going to produce a good amount of money for us in the long run. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. Things are good, man. Things are good. They really are. We're in the process here, moving along, cruising along, if you will. I'm going to leave the worker on doing the harvest here. I'm going to actually just go ahead and unhook the trailer there. Eventually, we will be able to just unload from the harvester directly into that trailer. But we really need to start doing multiple things at the same time. So because of that reason, we're going to go ahead and jump over here, hook into the actual baler, and we're going to start getting all of that straw baled up. I mentioned that I really, really want to get the canola in that field, and to do that, we really need to get that straw up, and then we're really going to have to plow it. I guess I don't necessarily have to plow it, but we really probably should plow it. That way we don't have to worry about spraying it or anything like that, right? So, now this wheat field, most of the actual crop they're going to get out of this wheat field, we're more than likely going to be putting in for our chickens. Whatever's remaining will go into the flour mill, as I mentioned, and we'll kind of go from there, right? But yeah, how's everyone? I hope you're doing well, man. Things are good. Poor Crustu, he's begun the process today of harvesting his carrots. It is going to be a slow and painful grind for the poor guy. I do feel bad for him. If we go and look here, just to give you a ballpark idea of what he's dealing with here, he has a massive field of carrots. What he's doing, it's like one, maybe two rows at most. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to take him a long time to do it. Is he going to make a lot of money in the long run? More than likely, the answer to that is yes. But it is going to be a struggle for him to get things done when he needs to, right? As far as the size of the fields go that he currently has. I have fully told him that I am willing to leave the server up for as long as I possibly can after we are done, because as you know, prior to the actual episode and then after the episode, we do allow ourselves to do a little bit of off-camera work. Case in point was this field. I almost harvested the entire field without you, and that was due to multiple reasons. Mostly, the carrots that he has to do, and they had a lot more stuff that they wanted to accomplish before we started recording. I didn't necessarily need to do what I did here. I didn't necessarily need to harvest this entire field, but I figured since they were doing so much off camera, we might as well go ahead and do so as well and get most of this field done, because we do have 2 more fields to do, and we need to drill at least one of these fields, as I mentioned. Plus, we have all the grass to mow as well, right? There's a lot. There's a lot to do. So we'll see, I guess, is how I'll leave it. We'll see where we get to and what we end up getting done today. But my goal is to at least get everything harvested today, and at least get this field specifically with canola in it. If we can get this field with canola in it and get everything else harvested, I'll be extremely happy. If we don't get to the grass, we don't get to the grass. It is what it is. As I mentioned, quick autosave here, but as I mentioned, we do have some silage that we can go sell as well. It's about 60-something thousand liters, something like that. 63,000 liters, 63,500 liters. We've got crickets to sell. There's aged goat cheese we can sell as well. There's a lot that we can do today, and so we just have to kind of plan this out as best we can. But in my opinion, regardless if we lose a tiny bit of money by waiting to sell some of the stuff, for the next month, which I don't think we will, but regardless if we were to do that, I would rather get everything harvested first so we don't, lose any of the profit from the fields themselves, right? Waiting and getting, kind of a withered harvest, or, waiting until it starts raining or anything like that, that's just going to pay, it's going to play a big role in us being able to make a lot of money, right? Used market-wise, there's some stuff out there. I've actually been considering this. This would be fantastic for us to have a nice sunflower and corn header. We've talked about that we want to kind of go towards that approach here in the near future. We're not quite there yet. We don't have enough money to purchase that right now. But if we sold some of the stuff that we do have here, we probably could get there. So it's just a decision on if we want to actually go that approach or not. I more than likely will end up purchasing that today, so long as it's still out there and nobody else purchases it from underneath our nose. But more than likely, I will be purchasing that. But to do that, we're going to need to sell the silage, and we're going to need to sell some of the other stuff that we have here as well, pumpkins, etc., like we normally do, right? So we will see. Now, the big problem I'm seeing right now that I'm concerned about is that we may run out of the square bale tine here before we are done with the baling here, which is a bit of a problem. That means we're going to have to run all the way to the shop and get more. Not the greatest thing to do, honestly. It's going to take some time as well just to accomplish that, right? So, but yeah, hopefully you're doing well. Now, this episode specifically should be released on Saturday. As I mentioned, we have bumped this series up to twice a week. So for whatever reason you missed the last episode, it did release on a Thursday. We're going to be doing now a release for the one-tile challenge, the competitive one-tile challenge, on Thursdays and on Saturdays. So a little bit more excitement for all of you if you are interested in watching this series to a more to an extent more than just once a week, right? A little bit more enjoyment for you. Now, I did mention before that I am doing this with Rusty Money Gaming and Crustu. Their links are down below in the description, so make sure you check that out. Also, if you stumbled across this and you're not sure exactly how this works, everything that you would ever possibly need as far as any series that I run, it's always in the description, but a high level is you start with one tile, and you've got to figure out a way to succeed with only having a one tile. You cannot branch out any further than that. You have to be stuck to your one tile. And this specific series is a competitive version of that one-tile challenge. I did a one-tile challenge a while ago. It was very successful. A lot of people were interested in that. People that were way more popular and way more successful than I am in Farming Simulator actually took that challenge on. So it is by far the most successful series that I've done to date. Maybe not the most the biggest series that's been watched, but as far as the reach that it actually garnered, by far it was the most. And so because of that, we decided to do a competitive version of that. Now, I did a competitive version of that with my friends Rusty Money Gaming and Crustu. Again, links down below. The reason why I did that, and the reason why this is the first time I've ever done anything remotely in the realm of a competitive series multiplayer online, is because these are the two guys that, personally, myself, I stumbled across and got me into recording Farming Simulator. I've played Farming Simulator for a long, long time. A friend of mine got me into playing Farming Simulator back in FS17, I think, which was a while ago, right? We're coming up 10 years, actually, from that, right? So, got me into that, enjoyed it ever since, but I never really thought, I should start recording. Watched these guys, and I said, you know what? They've made some pretty cool challenges. I want to take part in those, and that's what happened. I took part in Crustu's 200 horsepower challenge, and we kind of, went from there, right? We kind of took off from there. So, and that 200 horsepower challenge I took part in was in FS22, so a little while ago. But yeah, it's that's really where this whole thing, well, where my whole recording at least started from. I do have a second channel. I've mentioned a number of times before. It is also down below in the description. Not Farming Simulator rated. I've been doing that channel for quite a while. Not as successful as this one, so you can kind of chalk up the success that I had, I guess, to that channel to an extent, right? Going through all the weird early stuff that you normally go through when you start a YouTube channel. If you haven't started a YouTube channel, then maybe you won't know what I'm talking about. But if you have, you probably know exactly what I'm referencing here. Is that early on, you're terrible, right? You just don't know what you're doing. You really don't. You think you're doing some good stuff, and the ideas themselves might be good, but you're not actually coming across the way that you should, right? So, I 100% attribute my success in this channel to my other channel, and going through those early stages of those ups and downs and the terribleness that you normally have when you first start, right? And that's not to say that I'm super successful in this series. I feel like I am, because I'm almost at 10,000 subscribers, and shameless plug, if you haven't done so, hit the like and subscribe button for me. It helps me a ton. We are almost out of square bale here. We've got a little bit more than a half of one square bale remaining. And I think we have a chance to get this field done, actually. We're not going to be able to get the other field done that the actual worker is currently working on, the wheat field over there. We are not going to be able to get that one done. I can guarantee you that. But there is a chance that we might be able to get this field done as far as the straw goes. All right, the worker is full, so we need to go ahead and stop the worker for a brief moment here, unload this, and then get the worker set back off once again in harvesting this field. I was a little bit later than I had anticipated or wanted to be today. I forgot that there were some individuals in town for work. I feel like I've said that in the past, but it is what it is. It happens, right? We've got two different offices. One office is actually in Canada for where I work at, and the other office, sorry gang, I just hit the microphone. The other office is actually right around the corner from my house, about 5 minutes. So it's really convenient, where the office is that I go into. But, yeah, we had people in town that I kind of forgot about, so I had to kind of go to dinner and have a few, after drinks, if you will, with them before I started. My initial thought was to be able to get on and let the guys get on a little early, because they said they needed a little bit more time than I specifically needed. Once we jumped here to August, obviously I was going to need a ton of time because we have so many fields that we need to harvest. We have so much to do. But as far as, being in July, I really didn't have anything else to do. We kind of accomplished everything we needed to do in July. What I could have done, I guess, was, do a little bit more mowing. We certainly could have done that, but, yeah, I didn't, so it is what it is. All right, put that back on the worker. We're going to continue on here. So we're going to get the rest of this field done. Obviously, we've got to work on the wheat field over there. Then we've got a canola field that we're going to be harvesting as well. All of that is going to be going into our mill for the time being. Next harvest, more than likely, we will have enough money that we will have some other kind of productions down that we can do some of the things that I want to accomplish with some of the flour, even the oil. Excuse me. There's definitely some options for us there, but right now, it doesn't feel that early, because we've been running this series for a couple months now, but we've only been doing one episode a week, so it is still pretty early. But once we get a little bit further along here, we definitely are going to be doing some other things with that. Not going to give anything away. I'm going to make the guys watch. We all watch each other's episodes, but to be fully transparent, and I already told them this, I actually am behind on watching their videos. I did not watch the most recent Saturday episode yet. I actually had some friends in town from Wisconsin. I live in Ohio, so I had some tins in town from Wisconsin. They really haven't been to the Cincinnati or the Ohio area much, so we were spending some time with them. But anyway, hopefully I'll be able to catch up on their videos here either tonight or soon, and then we'll go from there as far as that goes. Evidently, they've messed with me a little bit, and I still haven't caught some of the things they messed with me about. I don't know exactly what they've done, but I guess we'll figure it out as we move along, right? There's a chance here that I think we're going to run out of square bale twine, unfortunately. Now, I don't know for sure if the buying silo allows me to buy square bale twine or not. I'm hoping it does, but I really don't know that answer. I guess we'll find out here soon enough, right? Either you're going to see me buy it from there, or you're going to see me go to the shop one way or another. But let's continue on here. We've got a lot to do. Let's get to work. All right, well, we got all the fields harvested, which is a great start. I don't think I've ever seen the error that popped up saying there was too many bales on the ground, that you had to pick up some of the bales and sell them or get rid of them before you can make more. That was the first time I've ever seen that happen. But that's fine. We ended up getting everything done, so it doesn't really matter. We didn't get a whole lot of harvesting as far as actually watching me harvest done today, but that's okay. The worker did a relatively good job for us. So we're going to load the rest of the canola into here. Now we're going to get started here on doing the plowing here. I tried to put it on a worker, but it was airing out on that as well, saying, in short, that it was not attached the correct way, which that is a true statement. But we want to attach it the incorrect way because all of you and everyone else from watching Stu and Rusty Money, for that matter, proved to me that you can turn it the wrong way around and actually go at a much faster pace than it really should be done. So we are going to do that just because that's going to help us out tremendously. Now, the big problem we're going to have is once we get this done, we're going to have to actually drill this field with canola, as I mentioned. More than likely what's going to happen is we're going to put it on a worker at least for a brief period of time until we get everything else kind of moved around here. Now, the big problem is, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not buying Crustu's gently used, as I like to call it, case that he put out there in the sale market. But really, we probably should have purchased that. We really could use a second tractor right now. We are struggling a bit with only having one, meaning we aren't able to do a lot of the other stuff that I would like to do, like selling some of the items that we want to sell, picking up the rest of the bales, etc., right? Eventually, obviously, once this field's done, putting a worker on plowing up another field for us while we drill another field or vice versa, those are things that we would love to do if we had a second tractor, but unfortunately, we don't. So we're just going to have to play it by ear here and do the best we can given that situation. Maybe something will pop up in the used market. Maybe we'll get enough money at some point where we can buy a second one, but right now, it's just not in the cards, unfortunately, for us. This is 100% something I think we should buy, but it's $18,000, as we mentioned, right? We don't have $18,000. We need another $10,000 than what we have right now. We don't have that. We're likely not going to have that today, so the odds are we're unfortunately not going to be able to get that header, although I'd love to have it. Now, having said all of that, we really don't have the drill, or the planter in this case, that we would require to be able to utilize that header to its full extent, but nonetheless, it is something I would love to have for future, because we've talked about in the future that we're going to be doing some corn, right, and some sunflowers for sure. So it would be nice to have it, but unfortunately, we're just not quite at a state right now where we can get it. Now, the nice thing, I guess, about what we're doing here is that it is, well, quite frankly, it is a large field, but it's not something specifically that we have to do the entire time here on camera with all of you, right? I can do this a little bit of off-camera work. I can try to finish this up. Ideally, what I would love to do is kind of take these fields here, which we started off with. Now that we kind of have a better idea where things are going to be, I'd like to kind of take this field and extend it all the way, and then take this field and extend it all the way, right? Kind of combine those. So instead of it being 4 fields over there, it's really only going to be 2 fields. I think we'll have a better job of being able to stagger the harvest, the drilling, etc., if we do that versus what we've been doing now, right? Early on, it made sense to have those smaller fields, but I think at this point, it makes a lot more sense to not have such small fields. I think it makes a lot more sense for us to be able to expand those fields, make them larger, and kind of stagger things to where we, drill one thing per month and then harvest one thing, maybe 2 things per month at most, right? I think that's going to help us out overall, especially with the grass fields right now. I feel like we've got these grass fields, but we're just kind of letting them go to waste, right? We haven't harvested any of these grass fields. We really need to, but we don't really have the ability to do so right now. So it would absolutely be great to have a second tractor right now, because we can have, like I said, multiple things going at the same time. We can have people plowing and drilling and mowing grass, etc., whatever. We can do all of that simultaneously instead of me having to do everything. We can actually utilize our worker to our advantage. Now, we did utilize our worker to our advantage for quite a while today with the harvest, right? Ideally, I would have loved to be able to do a little bit of that harvest with you on camera, but unfortunately, we really needed to try to be as sufficient as we can, and that meant putting the worker on doing the harvesting. We did get the chicken coop filled up to the max, so that's going to be good. We have the rest of the wheat actually in our flour production, but I actually turned off the wheat production for the time being. I do think we should at least, and we're going to need more wheat for those chickens before you know it. We bought 100 chickens. They are going to reproduce. They are going to reproduce, and we're going to need a lot more when that time comes, right? We've got 5,839 liters of wheat in there. We're going to need it. We're going to need it. We've got 11,958 liters of actual food, grain, in there for the chickens at current, but they are going to chew through that quickly. Once they start reproducing, and they already have. They already have. We've already got 100 of them at 0 months, so little babies. But I mean, they're going to start reproducing at an astronomical amount, and it's going to be hard for us to keep up. So I think for the time being, putting the wheat on just a storing perspective instead of turning that into flour is probably the smartest investment for us right now. How are the guys doing here? I'm gonna take a quick peek here. I don't know what Rusty's been doing here. Doesn't look like he's been doing a whole lot. I don't even know where he is. Crestu is still doing the carrots, and look, he has barely made any type of progress here. He's got such a massive field. I think he might. He's probably going to yell at me and get offended, but I think he might want to consider making those fields a little bit smaller as he moves forward here. But maybe he'll figure out a way to get them all done. I don't know. But it's already 9:52 at the time of this recording. We said we were going to be done around 10:15-ish. I don't see a way that he finishes that harvest by 10:15. Just given the fact of how far along we are already on this episode and how much he's actually accomplished, he has not done much, in my opinion, right? I mean, he has. But if you look at the size of this field, he really hasn't, right? He really hasn't. So that's going to be a struggle, I think, for him, big time. He got offended when I talked about his harvester last time. Not really, but, jokingly offended about how he enjoyed it. Doesn't matter. I hate that harvester. He's going to watch this and say something about it again, but I don't care. I hate that harvester. I used it in our Skyfin Aqua Farm series. I hated it. I had to get rid of it. I think we only had it for maybe 5 to 10, not even that, like five, it might have been 10 episodes, somewhere around there. We didn't have it for very long. We only used it for a couple of episodes, to be honest, but we had it for a little while. But I had to get rid of that thing. I just did not like it. It's just too slow. The turn radius, everything's just too slow for me. But if he's doing mostly root crops, then I guess it probably doesn't really matter to him, right? He can do those when it's not the time for the harvest of root crops, and it's probably all gravy for him, if you will. Now, early on, I do know that he was a bit in the negative. He's got himself out of that negative, so he's okay. Rusty has a ton of money. He's been making money, evidently. He's been selling stuff. I do know he said he was going to be selling stuff today, so he's been making a lot of money by selling stuff. So he's in a good spot. He's in a real good spot. We're fine. We're not in a great spot, but we're not in a bad spot. We're not like in any harm of being in the negative of any sort, right? Now, we have all that wool that I talked about, right? We've got 2 full pallets of wool. We've got another one starting. I do think it's probably smart for us to actually consider putting down Grandma's knitwear today. We'll take out most of the money we have, but I do think it's smart for us to do it because we can turn that into clothes. Those clothes are not going to be best to sell until May, but if we can start getting a good chunk of them together now, when May comes around next month, we are going to make a hell of a lot of money, right? So we just might put down that production today. We will see. If we run out of time and we don't do it today, it's not that big of a deal. We can do it next month. Like, it doesn't have to be done this month, but there's a probability that we might put it down, I guess is how I should put it. Having said that, though, we are, like I said, running close to the end, or at least where we're going to cut off the recording portion of this episode, right? We might do some more off-camera. Maybe I do that off-camera, but we'll see. Okay, so what else can we talk about? Anybody into Fallout? If you are into Fallout, let me know your thoughts about Season 2. I should have, at least at this point, watched the extent of it. The Season 2 finale should be coming, well, it's out tonight, the time of this recording, it should be out. So I should have that watched. I've been really enjoying that series, man. I'm a big Fallout fan. I talked about that in the past on my other channel. I actually, surprisingly, haven't done any recordings for Fallout on my other channel, but I should. And maybe I will soon. No, not even maybe. I more than likely 100% will soon do a recording for Fallout. I just think it'll be a fun thing to do. So we'll likely be doing that at some point in the near future. I'm not sure what game we'll do. Maybe Fallout 4, I don't know. I know a lot of people hated Fallout 76 when it came out. I don't think it's nearly as bad now as when it came out. It's certainly still not the best, and I would fully be 100% in agreement with you if you said it wasn't. But it is better than it was. It's a lot better than it was. Let's put it that way. Alright, looks like the harvesting, the unloading of the harvester is done, so we can go ahead and put this back over here for the time being. Now the straw itself that we picked up and put in the silage pole, I don't think straw is best to sell. We sold it last time because I think it was still a decent price at the actual, the train, if you will. But I don't think it was the best time to sell it. So we're going to take a peek here and see if it has increased at all from the last episode. It hasn't. It hasn't. So the odds are it's going to stay around that $52 the whole time. So we probably can sell it at any point as long as we go to the train, which means we have to go across that ever treacherous bridge. But nonetheless, that is an option, I guess, for us, right? Now, I guess one thing I didn't really look at until just now is, do we need to put down lime here? It looks like no. It's not saying anything about lime, so I don't think we necessarily need lime. I'm actually going to go over and walk over to the field itself and just see what it tells me, but it doesn't appear like we're going to need to put lime down there, which is good. I was a little concerned about that because the lime is another step we have to accomplish, right? We've got to lime it and then drill it, etc., right? But it's almost seeming like we don't need to. Yeah, we don't. We're going to need a roller at some point, which is not anything I really specifically want to do, but those of you that have been around the channel for a long time know that rolling is probably my least favorite thing in the world to do. But is what it is, I guess, right? Is what it is. Now, I don't expect that we're going to be able to get this whole entire field done here with the canola. I'm going to put this on a worker for a brief moment. The worker's not going to do the entirety of it, but I'm going to put it on the worker for a brief period of time here. Alright, and we're going to see... So, we've got to pick up all these bales, right? We've got these fields here, which I talked about how I want to, and I think I'm going to take this field, extend it all the way to the end, and then take this field and go all the way to the end as well. Maybe making it a little bit wider because we've got quite a big space here, which we don't really need. I think something along this lines is a little bit better. Or hell, even this small would be fine as well. I think that's what I'm going to do there, which will help clean that up. And then if we take this line and just go straight down, that's good. And then we can take this one and kind of combine it here, right? I think that's a better approach for us overall. And I think that's what we're going to do. But, do we, and I think we do we put down the Grambles knitwear right now for the clothes? I think we do. Now here's the problem. So the actual pallets themselves spawn on this side, right? If I want to kind of line up with this one, I should have it facing this way, but the pallets are going to spawn in a different area. I think I'm going to do it this way, which is, not probably what you would expect, but I think I'm going to do it this way. Now, the big problem I'm seeing here is if we decide to put this down, right, you've got to drop all the crop off here at the mill. I think this is going to be kind of in the way to an extent. but I think we'll be able to get by. I think we'll be able to get by. I really do. All right, it's there. Grandma's knitwear is down. So, we've got the worker working on this. I really need another tractor, but there's nothing that we can get for $3,809. It's just simply, they're not out there. We've talked together, all of us, about putting in some super old tractors. They're wanting something a little more unrealistic. I'm saying when I say super old, if I'm buying a tractor for $8,000 or whatever it is, it's gonna have like 15 horsepower, a small amount. If that has the ability to do any kind of a front loader on it, though, I think personally that's worth it. Because not only can we utilize that tractor to do the front loading type of stuff, but we could also use it to move around, or maneuver around, I should say, some of the things on the farm itself, right? Maybe not the fastest way in the world, but we can still do it. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I'm kind of kicking myself for not buying Krusty's tractor, as I mentioned, right? I'm kind of kicking myself for that, but I do think it was the smart approach at the time. If this would have been happening next harvest session, I think it would be a completely different story. But right now, I think that was the smart approach. So, while the workers continuing doing their thing here, what we're going to do is take a peek at everything else that we know we can sell today. Straw, we know we can sell for $52. Not a terrible price. Maybe we should do it, but it's not 100% the best price either. We do have one pallet of aged goat cheese. Now, the aged goat cheese we can get, let's see, 8,310, which is not terrible, but I think I would prefer to wait till September. If you look at the prices here, it's supposed to shoot up pretty high here in September. So if we're going to sell it, and I'm not saying we have to, if we're going to, I think I'd prefer to wait till September. Ideally, January is a better time, right? But I think I'd wait till September. Let's see. We've got flour, which I don't think flour is good. Crickets are not great, but they're starting to kind of go up here, right? But they're not great. But again, the fluctuation is a couple $10. It's nothing. As a matter of fact, we can get the crickets for $1,115, which is actually better than the average best price. So not really a big deal there. Eggs are better-ish. They can still be even better than they are now, but they are better-ish. 1,068. Well, nope, sorry, 1,149 is what it looks like. Not a bad price, but it can get better. It can get better. And we need to look at where they at. Pumpkins. Pumpkins. Yeah, so pumpkins are, oops, sorry, gang, hit the microphone. 1,103 looks like the best price, which again, it's not terrible. It's not terrible at all. But I feel like we could get a little bit better if we waited a little bit more. And then finally, silage. 180 is still the same price at Bale Export, so kind of feels like we should be doing that one, right? Kind of feels like we should be focusing on that, making a little bit of money there. But do we necessarily need to? I don't think we do, right? I don't think we do. So, what are we going to do here? Well, first of all, we're going to turn off the gear shift from automatic. We're going to put it onto manual. That way we can kind of keep it where we want it to be at. I need a back. Oop, I just screwed that up completely. That way we can kind of keep it in a same, you know, speed, if you will, and without it going up and down, shifting gears. That is a problem with the automatic, with this tractor, and with the drill itself. It just doesn't work out very well. So we just put it into manual, and we keep it in third gear, second gear, third gear, whatever it may be, and that's actually going to be a better situation for us. We're going to make, it's going to go faster for us than if we were to allow it to just automatically shift up to another gear, and then downshift, and then upshift, and downshift, and it goes down to 1 or 2 mile per hour at some points, right? So this is a big field to do. We've got a lot to do here. We're going to get the rest of this field done, and I think we might end up having to wait to do all the other selling that I talked about until at least the next episode, but we will see. We will see. All right, we're making good progress here, but we've still got a long way to go to get the rest of this field done. But we did run out of solid fertilizer, so we need to go buy some more of that right now. That way we can work to finish the rest of this field. Tiny little strip here that was missed for some reason. I guess it's just the actual size of the field itself, I guess. Something along those lines, but anyway. We'll be heading back over here, pick up some of this. We're just going to buy it from our buying silo, which is going to save us a little bit of time from having to go away to the shop. Not going to save us a ton of time, but it'll save us a little bit. I'm just going to buy the seeds and the fertilizer, as a matter of fact. So, just slightly over 750 there, right? Puts us at 2961, which is not a great spot to be in, if I'm honest with you. We're really weak on money right now. But we do have a lot to sell. Like, we've got the crickets, we've got the pumpkins, we've got a lot to sell, if I'm honest with you. I don't think we're going to have time to sell it today. It looks like the guys are getting close to finishing up here at this point, so I do not think we're going to be able to, unfortunately, accomplish selling any of the stuff that we wanted to today. But I might end up selling some of this off camera. I will tell you that. Just because I know the guys are going to be doing a lot off camera. Specifically, we already know, we looked at Crustu. He's got that massive, massive field to harvest still. So he's going to be doing some work here for a little while. He asked if I could stay on later, and I told him that I would be able to, so, you know, I'm going to allow him to do that. Now, I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to be on doing everything the entire time like he is, but I am going to allow him to continue to work. And I'll just leave the server up, if you will, because I'm the one hosting the server, right? So this field, having this field of canola is going to be fantastic for us. It's going to be a massive, massive field, this, right? It's going to make us a lot of money. Realistically, we probably should be considering buying some kind of a roller. As much as I hate them, we probably should be buying some kind of a roller to roll this field. We're not, unfortunately, going to be able to do that today. Perhaps in the future, we will have a roller. But yeah, we're not going to have enough time to do it. Now, the only field I'm going to be doing, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get this done before I stop recording, but the only field we're going to be actually drilling today is the field that you're seeing right now. So I don't think I necessarily have to do the entire field for you to see it. But this is going to be the only field that we drilled today. Like I said, the other fields are we've got some you know, objectives there, if you will, for us to accomplish. Specifically, we want to kind of combine a couple of those fields, extend them, if you will, modify the way they look a little bit just to make our life a little bit easier. All those bales have to be picked up as well, which I guess we'll do that in the next episode, right? More than likely, at least the next episode. We talked about the straw. It's not a good time to sell the straw, although if we go to the actual train itself, it's not terrible, but it's still not the best time to sell that no matter what we do. And except for those over there, we've already put those into the silage pole, which means they're going to be chopped up and they're going to be put into an actual trailer itself. They're not going to be able to be in the bale form where we can just put them on our flatbed. So we've got a lot of trips that we're going to be having to make here to the sell point and back, I guess, over the next couple of episodes here. Although, as mentioned, we can wait on a lot of that, and more than likely we're going to have to wait just because we want to get the fields re-drilled as much as we can. By the time the next episode rolls around, we are going to have to do a second application of fertilizer on this field, so there's going to be a lot to do. We didn't touch either of the grass fields, which is a problem in itself, right? We are basically wasting the opportunity for us to make a lot of money by not touching those fields, but yeah, it's just unfortunately where we are at right now. There's not really a whole lot for us to be able to be doing right now. So it is what it is, right? It is what it is. We are having to suffer through that. But with all that said, we are going to leave the episode at this point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button on the case you've yet to do so. They are free to do. They help me a ton. Thank you to my members. Cannot thank you enough. There's a link down below in the description if you're interested in joining. You do get early access to videos like this one. You also get a members-only series that occurs once a month. In that members-only series, what we normally do is kind of go through different challenges that we are trying to plan out to see if they hold any mustard based off of the paper write-up that I have of all these different challenges, right? So you get a lot of input in those series. You get a lot of input whenever I decide to come out with a new series as well. But that is by far the easiest way for you to get a little bit of early access to things that are in my mind, things that I'm coming up with, things that may potentially be released to everyone else. Right now, there's a what I think at least is a very interesting challenge that I've come up with that we're working through now. We started it in December. We did a most recent episode here for January just recently. I think the actual idea of the challenge itself is very unique. I think it'll be very interesting, and I think it would work out really well. There's my link to my second channel, which I've mentioned a number of times down below. We're doing playthroughs on Red Dead Redemption and Dynasty Warriors Origins, the DLC that just came out, The Vision of the Four Heroes. We're playing through that. Discord down below. Share your progress on any kind of video that you are currently working on, whether you upload it on YouTube or whatever it may be, screenshots, whatever. You can share those there, discussions, etc. Try to get back to everyone as much as I can. I know I'm not the fastest at getting back to comments, but I promise you I do read every single comment, and I do reply to every single comment. It just may not be as soon as maybe you would like, or maybe I should be doing, but I do get back to you at some point. I guarantee I will always reply to you one way or another. So please, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your comments, positives, negatives, all of that. I'm fully 100% aware that not everything I do is what you're going to like. And if it's a universal thing that people do not like, make sure you let me know down below, and I will try to make the shifts to verify that that doesn't happen in the future. Once again, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for your support. It means the world. We'll see you next time, gang.